What is a budget? Good question. I'm so glad you asked. So, what is a budget is one of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why budgeting is important, how to create a budget, how to stick to a budget, and then I'll give you some suggestions on different budgeting apps and what their benefits are. But at first, I have to introduce myself. I am Nia, your Chief Learning Officer. I am a published author, a certified financial education instructor, as well as a public speaker. I am the founder of Perspectives. I take individuals from struggling and stressed to empowered about their money so they can achieve financial freedom. I started Perspectives, to educate individuals as well as to educate parents, like how to introduce personal finance concepts to their children. We all know that children's attention spans get shorter and shorter with every generation. So bringing them information to them in a lecture is not really going to be as effective as if you're able to infuse it into your parenting and plant those seeds as early as possible in life. So I like to help parents with that process. So glad to meet you. So what is a budget? So budget gets a bad name. Let me just say that. A lot of people don't like to budget, or they talk about budgets, they down budgets, but really it's very simple. It's much more simple than you think it is. All a budget is a plan for your money. A budget does not necessarily is not defined as penny pinching. That's not the definition of a budget. All a budget is saying is that you make a plan for your money. It doesn't mean you have to be restrictive and you can't get your hair or your nails done. Yes, you can still get that JustFab subscription, but you just make sure that your money that you bring in, what you do with it aligns with what your financial goals are. That's one of the reasons for a budget. It's important. It helps you identify where your money is going, so you don't have that situation where it's Monday, you just got paid Friday, and you're already calculating the transactions in your bank account because you're not sure just how fast that money left. Like you're thinking that the bank miscalculated, because you can understand where your money went. So that's the purpose of a budget. You don't have to wonder where your money is because you are telling your money where to go. And it also helps you be prepared for different expenses. If, say, you want to take a trip, or maybe you have a big purchase for your child, if you create a budget, it will help you because you can make a plan for that. Let's say that you have something that's due that's $500, but it's due in 6 months. Well, you can divide that 500 by 6 and then decide how much you need to pay per month. Well, maybe you get paid biweekly. So now you can break that down even further into biweekly payments so that you save a little bit out of each check. This puts less of a strain on your wallet, and it'll help you achieve your goals at the same time. It's really very awesome. So of course we have to talk about why a budget is important. For one, it allows you to create a spending plan. A spending plan basically is saying where you spend your money. You will know because you would have told the money where it's going. A budget will help ensure you have money for the things that you need because you will basically plan out. You know this expense is coming up, so you're planning for that money. It makes sure you don't spend money that you don't have. Because see, the reason why you go through that over the weekend when you get paid is because you didn't make a plan for your money. So if you had made a plan for your money, you would know that you don't have money to go get those extra pair of shoes. You would know that you don't have money to go to that extra restaurant outing because you already accounted for where your money is going. It takes a lot of time in the beginning, and it's not even a lot of time, but it just takes more time in the beginning as with everything because you have to find out what works for you. Now, I always tell people all the time, a lot of people who say that budgets don't work, well, a lot of times it's because they're trying cookie cutter budgets. You're trying budgets that, oh, well, I made this budget and this is the budget I use. You have to adapt and change and make your budget flexible to your situation. If you're a freelancer and you get paid differently than a W-2 employee, you have to create your budget in that sense. If you get paid weekly, you need to have a budget that identifies what bills will be paid weekly when you get paid. Make your budget work for you and based on your financial situation, not someone else who gets paid completely different from you, that you might not even know how that person gets paid. A budget also helps you keep focused on your goals because you put those line items in your budget for the different expenses that you have either occurring now or they might be coming in the future. So those are the reasons that it's actually really important. So how do you create a budget? Okay, so let me tell you, it's really simple. Your budget should be made before you get paid. Okay. So if you're doing it after you get paid, you call yourself, oh, I got paid this much, I'm going to do it in my head. No. That's not it. All you have to do is, okay, so say I'm getting paid Friday. So I'm recording this video on a Monday. So let's just say I get paid this Friday. So today, Monday, before I get paid, I have all the way up till Thursday that I can make a plan for what is going to happen with this check when this check hits my bank account. I'm going to make a list of all of my bills. If you want to categorize them, you're more than welcome to do so. That might make it easier for you, might make less line items. Whatever works for you, that's what you want to go. The next you're going to do is list all of your income. Now, I want to add the first expense that you should put on your budget should be you, because you should always be paying yourself first. Paying yourself first basically means that you save money for yourself before you start paying bills, as opposed to the other way around. And to be honest, it's to hold yourself accountable. It's to create that nest egg for yourself. And it's to be your seed money into wealth. I preach that in all of my videos. You will hear me say that until my face turns blue, because it is absolutely true. So like I said, you list all of your bills and expenses on one side, all of them, even the ones that you have in your head that maybe you don't get a bill for coming in your mail or in your email, but you know that that bill exists and you know that it has to go. One good example is extracurricular activities for children. You may not get an invoice in the mail for those things, but you know that the uniform money is due this time. Things like that should also be on your budget. Then you want to list all of your income. Now, after you do that, all you do is subtract. You subtract your expenses from your income. That's it. And at that point, you decide whether you have a deficit or a surplus. A deficit means that you did not have any money left over after your budget. You actually went negative. This means that your bills are more than what you bring in. And that might solve some issues for some people who feel like they're always running out of money. Now they might figure out why. A surplus means that you still have money left over. Now, for those people, they normally have an aha moment like, what? Where is this money going? So when you have a deficit, you have to decide, are there things that I need to cut that I'm able to cut and adjust in my budget so that I can actually have something left over after, or at least break even with my bills and my income? And you have to decide if you need to increase your income. Do you need to work for a promotion, change companies? You have to make those decisions for yourself. But that's one of the important reasons why you create a budget. Okay, you with me? So how do you stick to your budget? Like I said, you make it based on when you get paid, whether that's bi-weekly, monthly. Freelancers always ask me, well, I'm a freelancer, so I don't get paid, bi-weekly or weekly. I get paid sporadically. So what I suggest for them is they take 3 months at any period in time, they use a rolling 3-month average. So basically, if this is July. So I would use April, May, and June. Take the income I made in April, May, and June, and I would divide it by 3, and that would be my monthly income. And that's what I would use. That's it. So also you should know a budget is not set in stone. It's okay to revisit it. It's okay to adjust it. It's going to change. It should reflect your financial goals, and it should reflect your current financial situation, which is going to change from time to time. So that's another reason why people are unable to stick to their budgets, because they don't change it. They still have this same old budget from expenses that they don't even have anymore, or expenses that they have newly acquired that's not reflected on their budget. So you have to go back and make those adjustments and change. Keep track of all your spending, because nobody says that you're going to stick to your budget every single month, every single time, every single transaction. You're going to deviate. So if you do decide to deviate, you want to keep track of that, because you might be able to compensate for that in your budget. For example, if I have $100 assigned to entertainment and I have $100 assigned to gas for my car. Well, I'm working from home right now. So if I'm working from home, I don't need that $100 assigned to gas for my car. Maybe I went over $60 for my entertainment. So instead of the $100, I spent $160 on my entertainment, but I spent $0 on gas. So you know what I should do? I should take the $60 from gas and I should put it towards my entertainment. So now my entertainment is within budget. And you know what I should do with the $40? Throw it in my savings, because it's all a part of the process. Other ways, just learning how you can stick to your budget. You want to give yourself an allowance. You want to be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself, because that's the only person that you are affecting, yourself. This is for you to make steps towards your financial independence and you controlling your life and not just working to pay bills. You want to make a grocery list. All the time we get things we don't need, or we become a victim of impulse shopping, which is one of the biggest budget busters. So you make a grocery list. If it's not on the list, then it's not in the cart. Control yourself at restaurants. Look at the menu before you get to the restaurant. A lot of us have been cooped in the house and we're excited about things opening back up and we want to go to the restaurant. That's fine. Look at the menu before you go. This way, you help yourself. This way, you work on what you're going to purchase. You know exactly how much it costs. You know what you have to spend before you go. Work to be less wasteful. Turn electricity off when you're not going to be home for a while. Be mindful of water expenses if you own a home. You know, like Barney said, I'll never let the water run while I'm brushing my teeth, you know, things like that. And teach your children those strategies ahead of time so that they'll already be adapted to them and it'll save you money. So lastly, we'll talk about free budgeting apps. Mint, for one, is a really good one. It's good for saving more and spending less. It's really good. Mint will let you know how much you spent compared to a previous week or compared to a previous month. That's really helpful. Next is EveryDollar. This is good for zero-based budgeting, which basically means that you assign somewhere for every single dollar to go. Clarity Money is good for all-inclusive budgeting, which basically means you just included everything in there. You're not like categorizing and breaking things down. It's just all-inclusive. Personal Capital is good for tracking wealth and spending. It's also great for calculating your net worth. So if you're a bottom line kind of person and you want to compare your debt to your assets, Personal Capital is a great option for you because it will keep that in your mind and perspective, and that will keep you focused on paying down debt. So Prism is good if you're someone who has issues with paying bills on time. For example, I also suggest people when they're making their budget is record the due dates for your bills. Record the due date. For example, if you have JFAB, you want to remind yourself on the 4th to make sure you cancel before the 5th hit and you get charged. So things like that, okay? Pocket Guard, it gives you a snapshot of how much you can spend at any given moment because it basically has your bills and expenses already in it. So it lets you know what you have, what your surplus is, so you can know what you have to play with. Good Budget is for users who want to allocate their money towards specific spending categories. So it just depends on what your goal is with your budget. Here are some apps that might be helpful for you. And that answers your question on what is budgeting. What is a budget?